Hi, welcome to Fusion Beads. Today I'm going to show you how to make these fall pumpkin earrings. I think these earrings are great for the autumn time or just to use for Halloween jewelry. These earrings are constructed using the coral and black ceramic bead from Golem Studios. I think it makes a perfect little pumpkin. I used a 5mm Olivine Swarovski crystal Bicone for my stem, and then I used an assortment of natural brass bead caps, and I curled up a couple of eye pins using my round nose pliers to mimic leaves. For my tools, I'm using wire cutters, chain nose pliers, and I have some round nose pliers. You can find the links for all of these beads and supplies in the description below. So let's get started. Okay, to begin, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to string everything up on my 3-inch head pin. But as you can see, the hole for this ceramic bead is pretty large. So I went ahead and I am going to use a 5mm Heishi to keep my head pin from falling through my pumpkin. And then that way too, it adds a nice little embellishment there at the bottom. So you string on your Heishi, string on your ceramic bead, and then you go ahead and you string on your bead cap, your biggest bead cap. And if your bead cap doesn't sit all the way down on your ceramic bead or pumpkin, you can just squish it down a little bit more because the antique brass is pretty pliable there, and just kind of form it around your bead. So there, it's cupping it nice. And then at this point, I'm ready to make my little curlicue leaves. And to do that, I take an eye pin and I just cut maybe 4mm off the edge there. And then I take my round nose pliers and I just do a curling motion. So I grab it at the end and make sure it's not pushing up. You can just run your fingers over there and make sure it doesn't. And then I just gently curl it very loosely and openly around the tip of the round nose pliers. And you can make your curl as tight or as open as you like, but I think this is just kind of a cute and easy way to do it. And then I have a little curlicue, and then you can kind of adjust it and manipulate it with your fingers if you like. And seeing how it's going to be threaded on here onto the pumpkin, I always give this little end part a little bend, just ever so slightly, so that it kind of cups the pumpkin a little bit. So I have curlicue, I slide him on there. So see, he just sits on there, and I think it just looks real cute and adds a little bit of texture to your pumpkin. And I already had one here that I made, so I slide him on. And I like to have one on each side, but you could have them both together, or you could have them on the sides, or however you want, or maybe you just want one. It's really whatever you like. So you slide those on there, then you take the next bead cap, and you have it cup side down towards your beads, and it's just this little 4-petal bead cap. You slide that on, and that covers your loops from your eye pins and just makes everything look nice and cohesive. And you just kind of squish it all down there, and that way it sits really nice on your beads. And then the next bead cap, you have it cupped away from your main bead, because that is where your 5mm Bicone is going to sit for your stem. So it's going to cup it all together. Just squishing that all down there. So then you have this nice little cute little pumpkin, and you can always manipulate these a little bit more if you want after you're done. So my main construction of it is done. I'm going to go ahead and just make a wire wrap loop to finish it. So I grab my chain nose pliers. I grab right above all my beads, and I just make sure they're stacked on there and they're nice and tight. Don't worry, if your little leaves move around, you'll have a little bit of leeway to manipulate it after you've wire wrapped it. I bend it at a 90-degree angle. Then I grab my chain nose pliers, my round nose pliers, and I make a loop. So make a nice little loop there. Then I grab my chain nose, and I hold on to the loop, and then I grab my round nose, and I use that to wrap my wire around. And then I wrap it all the way down to my Bicone. And the reason we did a wire wrap loop on this instead of a simple loop is in this way it makes sure everything is nice and tight and secure on your piece. A simple loop you'd ended up having your bead caps like move around a little bit. So I go ahead and I just tuck in my tail a little bit because I can see he got a little wonky there on me. Go ahead and cut off the extra part there. And I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can get that tucked in there. Adjust my loop. So there, the main construction of my pumpkin is all done. And you can kind of see like the bead is sitting off to the side a little bit because it does have such a large hole. So that's where you just kind of like push it in there and adjust it. And again, with that wire wrap loop, it keeps everything nice and tight, and then that way it won't move around. So I grab my ear wire and your chain nose pliers, and you go ahead and open your ear wire by just like sliding it to the side. You slide on your pumpkin, the little loop you just made. Go ahead and close your ear wire. And now you have these adorable earrings all ready for fall or the holiday season. You can find all the products and tools for this inspiration design at fusionbeads.com.